the wonderful world of video game development, such an art form in itself. Games such as Super Mario and Call of Duty have moulded and shaped the landscape of gaming from the very beginning in the 1980s. The success of these titles, and their companies as a result, have inspired thousands of other companies to try and get a slice of that success. Some companies create absolute gems, such as Undertale or Hollow Knight, and others create Sonic 06. Without further ado, allow me to guide you, my dear viewer, through some of the aspects of game design that have been improved through the ages. Starting with... First off, what is it? What is level design? Well, it's the intricate balance between given information and world building that guides the player around the world without making it feel like they're being forced to do anything they don't want to. But that doesn't mean much yet, so let me show you. Let's start with an example to get us into the swing of it. King's Row from Overwatch. Let's have a look at what happens when you pick your character and the gates open on attack. Let's say you walk out the front door and BAM! What am I looking at? Well, you've got a big red bus blocking line of sight, a tunnel to the left and a building to the right. So obviously, because you're a professional gamer, you hold forward on the joystick and walk past the bus, and you're more often than not face to face with 5 players absolutely lacing you with bullets, being shielded by a big German man holding a holographic rectangle. This right here is called a choke point, and it's purposely put there by the devs to funnel players through it and create a dynamic of players either trying to control the choke or get past it. A choke is a neat idea by itself, but it get boring after a while. So Blizzard, in their infinite wisdom, gave many ways for characters to completely bypass the choke. Some do this better than others. Remember that building at the start I was talking about? Well, every character can go inside and jump out this window to get the jump on some low health targets. The issue here is if the whole team comes with you, you're in another choke that's even harder to get through. This battle goes back and forth until a mistake is made, and either the defending team wins, or the attacking team get through. That's just one example of level design in a team-based first-person shooter. But level design extends far beyond just FPSs. Level design can also be used to tell a story. Take the huge world of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example. This sprawling landscape tells stories just from its looks. Mystical mountains rise in the distance, and behind it all is a looming castle surrounded by malice. Having a world is all well and good, but what is a world without its inhabitants? Say you've created this massive world with beautiful scenery. What now? I tell you what now. You start plopping in some memorable characters. But what makes a memorable character? This is a question that's been asked repeatedly throughout the ages, dating back to the first ever cartoon. Chances are you know who Mickey Mouse is. I mean, if I gave you a silhouette, you'd most likely be able to tell me who it is. Nice. What about this one? Alright, pretty good. What about this one? Mario and Sonic are two of the biggest examples of iconic characters, but they fit into their worlds because they're so inherently unrealistic. I mean, look at this abomination. What cruel form of evolution created it? But in all seriousness, this is good character design for the context. But what if the world was a bit more realistic? Welcome to Monster Hunter World and its expansion, Iceborne, a game that came out in 2018 that sent waves across the internet because of its design and accessibility. This game is a massive reason as to why Monster Hunter is so popular outside of Japan. This section is about character design, so let's talk about some giant monsters. Okay, tell me what you see here. A chicken, right? Well, nearly. As you can see, it looks a bit like a chicken, but it's got huge claws and scales. Earlier I mentioned evolution, which is very relevant here. Normally a chicken wouldn't need huge claws and scales to defend itself, so what exactly is it defending itself from? These terrifying creatures, named Nargacuga and Rathalos respectively, represent apex predators and are also loosely based on real creatures. A Nargacuga is like a cat-bat-wyvern hybrid, and Rathalos is much more like your typical wyvern, with some lizard-like features such as a poisoned tail. These two creatures have a massive presence in the environments they appear in, and utterly dominate the food chain below them. Unfortunately for these majestic beasts, not even their cat-like agility or poison adaptations can save them from what lies above. These crazy apex predators stand far above all others and kill indiscriminately. The mighty Teostra scorches all and sits on its royal throne. The majestic Kushala de Oro commands the very wind to do its bidding. And the mystical Chameleos sneaks through the shadows and strikes when least expected. The astute among you may have noticed that an Elder Dragon was left out of the montage from Monster Hunter World. There is another Elder Dragon that I would say is possibly my favourite monster design in all of media, Valhazak. For you Monster Hunter veterans, just sit tight for a bit. Acid lakes, rotting corpses, and walls made of giant rib cages. How very appropriate for a dragon that looks like this. This dragon is absolutely incredible. It is the king down here, so of course the king must wear its crown of rotting flesh. Imagine you, a puny human, stumbling upon this absolute beast. It's like 3 times your height and raring to send you to the afterlife. Its look is so commanding you begin to question that maybe it was the environment that adapted to it, instead of it adapting to the environment. Now, why you would be fighting this monstrous, yet oddly incredible dragon, you must want to know a few things, like your health, or what item you're holding. Don't worry, this next section's got your back. Here you are, just playing your favourite video game, Monster Hunter. You know, hunting monsters. But how do you know when you're gonna die? Or even where you are? Boy, do I have the solution for you. Introducing a revolutionary invention, user interface. Or as the cool kids like to call it, UI. Not only can you see how much health you have, but depending on the game, you could have the true nature of the universe revealed to you. But in all seriousness, the user interface can make or break a game. In games such as Resident Evil, the UI is very minimalist as to fit in with the setting. You wouldn't want some flashy numbers popping up when you're in the process of shattering all your windows from screaming. And that brings up the largest factor that affects the UI of any game: setting. With the previously mentioned Resident Evil franchise, since the game's suspense is mainly based around its atmosphere, having a big flashy menu like literally any menu from a certain game will take you out of any sense of immersion and ruin the suspense of the game for you. So what they decided on was a very bare bones menu with quite high transparency as to keep you within the world. Just a bit like a shopping list so you can change what you want and get back into the action. Main menus are usually the face of its respective game, and show the user the style and character of the game, like with Guilty Gear Xrd. You open up the game and BAM! A huge title card appears with a respectfully banging soundtrack, screaming in your face with the energy of at least 3 nuclear warheads. And those 3 warheads are only a fraction of the intensity of this game. You hop in, pick a character, and zip around the screen at the speed of light, fighting to the death. But menus aren't the only part of UI. What about when you're in the game beating the snot out of each other? The genius developers at Arc System Works have got you covered. I present to you Fighting Game UI. After the fight sound cue, you're thrown into the fray, just you and your opponent, dueling to the death. Obviously, you can just push buttons and have some semblance of a fight, but once you get more familiar with what you can do, you start looking at the information the game gives to you. At the top, you've got you and your opponent's health bars draining towards the middle. And in between these life bars is the all-encompassing timer, which dictates both the pace of the fight and how much time you have left. If you take a quick look in the bottom two corners, you'll see the meter. This is the cornerstone of any fighting game, other than, everything else. So it is of utmost importance that the game devs make it very obvious as to what you're looking at just a glance. And I'll go into extensive detail within the system design section. But for now, just know that low health means bad, and high meter means...
Now, when you actually hit someone, you're going to need some indication that you did good. So what do these game design geniuses do? Say you're playing almost any game ever, and you do almost anything. What do you hear? If you're walking, you hear footsteps. If you're swimming, you hear water swishing. And if you slam a tree into an immortal god's head, you hear... Game developers are always trying to give audio feedback to their players. The sound in games can be used for so many things. Let's use Five Nights at Freddy's 1 as an example. Helpful sound could be sounds such as the clanging pots and pans in the kitchen from Chica, saving you from using up your precious power looking at the room. But red herrings can seriously throw you off, like that don't actually mean anything other than to make you poo your pants a little and distract you from the sounds that can help you survive. This is also a good example of non-diegetic sound, a sound that does not originate from within the game's universe and is only displayed to you through a screen. For example, like with the God of War clip from earlier, the sound of the tree shattering is diegetic, so Kratos and Boulder specifically, can hear it, but the massive rock soundtrack from Sonic Adventure 2 is definitely non-diegetic, unless Sonic and friends are silently rocking out in their heads. Going back to Five Nights at Freddy's, diegetic sound is here in droves from the buzzing of the camera to Foxy booking it down the hall. But the difference with the sounds just mentioned is that they contribute to the lack of information you already have. They work with your actions and what's happening around you, but they don't help you fend off the 8-foot tall robotic bear who's trying to turn you inside out. They just give you a bit too much information that stops you from hearing the important sounds. Speaking of important sounds, you've most likely heard this jingle. This sound plays in 99% of the Legend of Zelda games when you obtain an important item, and it's supposed to incentivize you to find more items like it. Its purpose is to be catchy and to get stuck in your head for a while. Other sounds like this that incentivize the player to do something, such as the coin pickup sound from any Mario game, are put there to give you a little dopamine jab each time you do something good. There are also sounds that inspire utter fear, such as the jump scare scream from Five Nights at Freddy's, or the low HP theme from Pokemon Black and White. The Pokemon theme specifically uses fast-paced rhythms, a droning string line in the back, and most importantly, dissonance, to create that sense of tension and pants-wetting atmosphere. Dissonance is basically when you play two notes very close to each other at the same time. Like you're in year 3 in a music class and can't play the piano very well, it creates this very unsettling sound. Music can have such a massive effect on gameplay, without you even noticing it. Let's play a short game. I'm going to play this clip from Dragon Ball FighterZ with the regular music. Then I'm going to play the same clip again, but with music from Animal Crossing. The difference is crazy. The first clip has this manic atmosphere representative of the planet-sized energy blast you're hurling at each other, and the second is just underwhelming, and doesn't give you that same adrenaline kick. Then again, that brings up the point of music being appropriate. The second clip, while underwhelming for a game like Dragon Ball FighterZ,
is absolutely perfect and calming for a game like Animal Crossing, which has you build a cute little town.
Now that's enough about what you're hearing, despite the absolutely banging soundtrack that's been playing in the background. Time to move on to the fun part of video games. Now you may be asking yourself,
The fun part of video games? What's this funny man on about? Aren't all parts of video games fun? In general, yes. But allow me to introduce you to Malenia.
Malenia may not be initially fun, but that idea of fun brings me on to talking about system design. It's basically what it feels like to play the game, and the resources you have available to you. Therefore, I saved the best till last. Every single section before this contributes to system design.
Since I already brought up Elden Ring, how about we take a deep dive into how it makes you feel from the very beginning?
You open up the game, create your abomination, and hop into the humongous world of the Lands Between, and you're instantly greeted with the two words you will see the most.
This immediately makes you feel powerless.
You have a pathetic little weapon, no clothes, no maidens, a useless little dodge roll that makes you flop around like a fish. How could you ever hope to destroy that abhorrent spider-looking thing with a wooden stick? Luckily, the wondrous people at From Software have got your back. After your unfortunate demise, you appear underground where you were taught the basics of the game, such as swinging your weapon, dodging correctly, and getting you used to dying a lot. Elden Ring's UI is very minimalist: red bar for health, blue bar for magic, and green bar for stamina, and a couple bells and whistles on the side. This means that your main focus is on what's happening around you. Your first encounter with an enemy went so terribly that you always have this feeling of powerlessness in the back of your mind, and this is reinforced by the dissolution of your confidence when your face gets sent 30 feet underground by this tree sentinel.
After dying to it a few more times, you run away, learning the game, how to dodge with better timing, reading openings for attacks, but most importantly, resilience. After dying an embarrassing number of times to regular enemies, you come back with better armor, weapons, and a massive heap of confidence to finally take on that blasted tree sentinel, and you absolutely demolish it. This is Hidetaka Miyazaki's amazing attention to detail in his design coming to light. This contrast between your immediate powerlessness and your utter domination after hard work is all thanks to the systems that allow you to explore the world and how they're so well crafted to convey these feelings. Souls-like games as a franchise have a reputation of both making people incredibly angry, but also, according to an alarming amount of people, makes you a better person in real life. And I believe this is the ultimate testament to Miyazaki's design of the systems, levels, characters, UI and music of all of his games. At last, our adventure through the world of game design comes to a close. What an adventure it's been. We've stumbled through the level design of Overwatch, interacted with the incredible character designs from Monster Hunter, taken a gander at the UI of Guilty Gear, listened to the beats of FNAF and DBFZ, and finally experienced the masterful system design of Elden Ring. There is so much more to game design that I don't have time to fit into this video, but I encourage you to look further into this if you're interested. Unfortunately, that's all the time I have left for you in this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.